Dave Dulio comes running out of the tunnel to the Oakland University fight song right onto our radio stage. After a big day yesterday, it's nice of him to wake up early. The director of the Center for Civic Engagement at Oakland University, professor in the political science department, and it was Civility Day all day yesterday, too. We had a couple of members of Congress on campus and even more who showed up later for the debate with the governor and Tudor Dixon. Dave Dulio, congratulations on a big day in Rochester at Oakland University where you had leaders all over the place.
Thanks, Michael Patrick. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the kind words. And, it was a great day yesterday at OU.
Fred Upton, Debbie Dingell, Haley Stevens was there, and the two candidates for governor and lots of media. What happened behind the scenes that we don't know about, that we haven't read about or seen on the television?
Lots of running around so that it looks like everything comes off without a hitch to those who are watching. But it was a successful day yesterday, thanks in large part to our participants. We're grateful that off the top the governor and Mrs. Dixon agreed to, one, have a debate, and two, do it on our campus. We're grateful to Nolan Finley and Stephen Henderson from the Civility Project for partnering with us on Civility Day and bringing such great guests. But it would not have been possible without the great work of the staff at Oakland University, from the folks in the Oakland Center all the way, certainly to the OUPD.
Even had protesters out there in spots, holding up signs and all the rest of it. And wasn't it interesting? Chuck Stokes, Elle Myers, and Doug Reardon. You had a moderator from Detroit and Lansing and Grand Rapids with the Scripps people, and Chuck Stokes threw it to Elle Myers for the first question, and she said, "Wait a minute, we forgot the opening statements."
Even the most professional journalists, and Chuck Stokes is a pro's pro, and even he makes mistakes, and we had a good laugh about it afterward.
Neither of the candidates made many mistakes, did they?
I think they both will be pleased with their performance last night, but I think Tudor Dixon is going to be more pleased. She was able to do, I think, almost everything she wanted. Not a flawless performance, but certainly on balance, I think the Dixon campaign is going to be really happy.
I was with somebody and with a group of people watching, and one of them, the jaw hit the floor. They couldn't believe how Tudor Dixon was so focused. She barely even blinked, and she didn't look at notes, and she had a counter punch for every punch, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think she showed, again, continuing her performance from the first debate, I think she was well prepared. She was poised, and I think that really did a lot for her in talking to voters directly, many of whom for the first time, right? She even said at the top of the debate that she wanted to introduce herself, which is really a stunning comment to make only 2 weeks away from the election day, when you've got somebody who's as close as she is to being governor, saying to, in Southeast Michigan, about 50% of the votes are going to be cast. So saying to that many voters, I'd like to introduce myself to you, seems a little late for that, but she's right in there. She's got a chance.
Yeah, well, that debate, the previous debate wasn't shown in Detroit, so maybe she was thinking about that. And also,
absolutely,
it's kind of a humble thing to say too, isn't it?
Sure, and at the end, they both asked for the voters' vote, right? They both said, "I asked for your vote." I think that always is respected by the viewing public.
Tudor's close was a little more concise, I thought, and cut to time. Worked out very well. Was there anything between any of the candidates that you noticed before or after? Anything in their exchange personally that we don't see on television that you heard about or saw?
Nothing that I saw, because it was a tightly controlled environment. The only folks in that debate room were the candidates, the moderators, a couple of crew, and that was it.
Interesting. I'm always curious about that kind of stuff and the time leading up. And then what about was there a spin room after? I did see interviews were being given here and there.
There was a spin room after, and it was as chaotic as most of them are. You mentioned Congresswoman Dingell and Congresswoman Stevens. Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist was there. Mayor Mike Duggan was there as surrogates for the governor. And, they came in first. They did a lot of media. in a scrum. Then the two candidates came in, and it was a sort of a back and forth for 10 or 15 minutes. Press and cameras and microphones swapping back and forth in the sides, and it was something to watch. That's for sure.
I think your man Doug Reardon there, one of the moderators from Grand Rapids, overheard on WTKG. He may have inadvertently landed the biggest punch of all in the night when the governor was blaming the legislature for the vetoes that she made and the trouble that she had in the first term, and he said, "Oh, I just want to remind you, if you happen to get reelected, it's very likely you're going to have a Republican legislature again."
Well, I think that was a fair point by Doug, no doubt, and I also think it's interesting to note that the governor was very complimentary of the legislature in some regards, saying that she has all these bipartisan successes as governor, signing all these bills. But then she called some of the other work that the legislature did a gimmick and said that they were standing in the way of many things. Now, both of those can be true, but it also seems to some extent like she's trying to have it both ways.
Yeah, Tudor jumped right on that and said, here's a lady said she can collaborate. Now she's calling their ideas gimmicks.
Right.
Yeah, it was something. And the governor had those lines that she used the first time around. I don't have time for games, and that's just not true. She said that a number of times. She seemed a little frustrated, it seemed to me.
I think Tudor Dixon's poise and preparation, as well as her ability to, as you mentioned, come right back with critiques. I think that put the governor on the defensive several times. I think she did return to some similar and familiar
cliches,
talking points. Yes, no doubt. But she had new ones too, right? She talked about not being able to trust Tudor Dixon, as well as I think she was waiting to use that line about oh gosh, where'd it go?
Yeah, I know. That's how it happens. You see that? See, Oakland University is famous for that. Dave D'Olio is there.
Starting route to top 10 state status. Proceed to the plan.
The Road to Top 10 plan from Business Leaders from Michigan charts a course for Michigan's growth, with key landmarks along the way.
Turn right to compete for good jobs.
Like bringing quality jobs to Michigan, investing in education and job training, rebuilding our infrastructure, and more. And if we follow the plan,
you have reached your destination, top 10 state status.
Read the full plan at michigansroadtotop10.com.
Meijer has just what we need for Halloween.
I'll get you a 3-pound bag of Michigan-grown apples for 99 cents.
Buy one, get one, 50% off Halloween cosmetics.
And 20% off kids' Halloween costumes.
I want to sink my teeth into Jack's Frozen Pizza. 3 for $10.
Mom, Dad, can we get our groceries now?
Discover something spooky and get more for your money with the same low Meijer prices, no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Elections are coming up, and this year, we're making our voice heard. For ourselves, for our community, and for future generations. Go to planmyballot.com today. Use your vote and your voice to keep pushing for progress.
Paid for by Priorities USA Action and Color of Change PAC.
There's a highway that stretches across the 93 days of summer, where worship isn't offered to the sun, but to the smoking tire, the S-curve, and the spin turn. And if you ride it, make sure you do it in a Dodge Charger, Challenger, or Durango. 'Cause on this highway, the lines being blurred are the ones between drivers and demons. Welcome to Highway 93. Dodge is a registered trademark.